There is a moment, a quiet, sinking realization that many of you have felt in the dead of the night. You are lying next to someone, or perhaps you are looking at your phone, wondering why the dynamic feels so heavy. Why does it feel like you are doing all the giving, while he is merely a passenger in your life? Most women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who come to me are not looking for a game. You are looking for a partner. You are looking for an equal. But there is a dark side to the modern dating landscape that we need to confront head-on. The reality that some men are not looking for a woman to love, but a sponsor to sustain them. It is a painful truth, and I know that acknowledging it makes you feel foolish. Please, stop that line of thinking right now. You are not foolish. You are generous. You are a woman who has worked hard to build her life, her security, and her comfort. You are a woman of substance. The problem is that your light and your stability can sometimes attract shadows. These shadows do not want to build with you. They want to consume what you have built. When we talk about being used, it doesn't always look like a movie villain stealing your life savings. It is much more insidious. It is a slow drain. It is the gradual erosion of your self-esteem, where you begin to believe that the only way to keep him interested is to provide, to solve his problems, or to finance his comfort. If you have ever felt like you are buying his time, buying his attention, or buying his affection, you are already in a dangerous position. We need to talk about the psychology of why this happens. Often, it stems from a beautiful place, your desire to be a nurturer. You see a man struggling, or you see a man who seems to appreciate your success, and you think, I can help him. You think your support will make him more committed to you. But I am here to tell you that commitment is not something you can buy. In fact, when you try to buy it, you destroy the very foundation that allows a man to truly love you. When you become a provider for a man who is capable of providing for himself, you shift the polarity of the relationship. You move from being the feminine energy that inspires him to become his leader, to becoming his parent or his investor. And once that shift happens, the attraction fades. He might stick around because the life you provide is comfortable, but he will not look at you with the hunger, the respect, and the devotion you deserve. To break free from this, we first need to identify the patterns. We need to strip away the excuses you make for him. We need to look at his actions, not his words. Does he show up for your heart, or does he only show up for your checkbook? Are you his partner, or are you his plan B for financial stability? Today, we are going to walk through 10 signs that are psychological red flags. Some of these will hurt to hear. You might recognize yourself in several of them. That is okay. Recognition is the first step to liberation. Once you see the game for what it is, you can stop playing it. We will start with the first few signs that reveal a lack of authentic investment. If you are ready to stop being someone's convenience and start being their priority, we have a lot of work to do. We have established that your worth is not a currency you should be spending to buy someone's presence. Now, let's dig deeper into the actual signs. When a man is with you for your resources rather than your soul, he doesn't announce it with a neon sign. He doesn't say, I am here for your bank account. Instead, he uses your own kindness, your own maternal instinct, and your own desire to see the best in people against you. He plays on your need to feel useful. The first sign, and this is a classic, is the crisis cycle. Have you noticed that he only reaches out or only becomes truly affectionate when there is a disaster in his life? Maybe it's a car breakdown, a sudden legal issue, a business opportunity that needs a small injection of cash, or an unpaid bill that is looming over his head. When everything is fine, he is distant. When he is in trouble, you are his first call. This is not a relationship. This is a SOS signal that only goes one way. If you find yourself constantly solving his problems, you are not his partner. You are his crisis manager. And here is the brutal truth. He will never love the manager the way he wants to love a woman. He feels a sense of relief when you pay, not a sense of gratitude. The second sign is the vanishing act, regarding his own finances. Have you ever noticed that when it's time to pay for dinner, or a trip, or even small daily expenses, he suddenly becomes forgetful? His card is malfunctioning, he's waiting on a wire transfer, or he's just tight this month. Yet, he seems to have money for his own hobbies, his own outings with friends, or his own lifestyle choices when you are not around. When a man is genuinely interested in a woman, he will move mountains to provide for her, even if it's just a small gesture. It's not about the amount of money, it's about the intent. If he is always the one receiving and you are always the one giving, he is not building a life with you. He is building a life off of you. The third sign is the lack of future alignment. When you talk about your dreams, your investments, or your long-term plans, does he get excited for you? Or does he immediately start talking about how those plans could benefit us? Note the difference. If he is genuinely with you for love, he wants you to thrive because he loves the person you are. If he is with you for money, he wants you to thrive because you are his golden goose. He will push you to work harder, to take more risks, or to expand your business, not because he wants to see you fulfilled, but because he wants to increase the overflow that lands in his lap. You might be thinking, but Lyris, he says he is just waiting for his big break. Now I have heard that so many times it echoes in my sleep. We have all heard the story of the struggling artist or the undiscovered entrepreneur. But a man who loves you will never want to be a burden to you. A man who loves you will be embarrassed if he cannot stand on his own 2 feet. He will want to come to you from a place of strength, not a place of depletion. When you start to see these patterns, you have to stop explaining them away. You have to stop being the one who makes excuses for his lack of progress. You are a woman of immense power, but your power is being leached away by someone who sees your bank account as a shortcut. It is time to stop being a soft place for him to land when it comes at the expense of your own peace. We are going to move into the signs that are even more psychological. The way he manipulates your guilt and your fear of being alone. This is where it gets really uncomfortable, but also where your eyes will fully open. You deserve to be cherished for your wisdom, your beauty, and your spirit, not for what you can offer in a transaction. We have looked at the obvious breadcrumbs. The guy who only calls when he needs a solution, the one who magically loses his wallet at dinner, and the one who views your success as his personal piggy bank. But now, we have to go deeper. We have to address the psychological warfare they use to keep you trapped. Because a man who is only in it for your resources knows he has to keep your emotions compromised. If you were thinking clearly, if you were centered in your own power, you would have walked away months ago. So, how does he keep you there? He uses a strategy I call the illusion of future potential. He paints a picture of a life that doesn't exist yet, but he promises it will. He tells you about the business he is about to start, the inheritance that is coming through, or the way he is planning to take care of you once he gets on his feet. He creates a fantasy. And because you are a woman of deep empathy, you don't just see him as he is today, you see his potential. You are effectively paying for his future. But here is the reality. You cannot date a man's potential. You can only date his character. If his character today is to let you pay for his life, that is who he is. The fourth sign, then, is the weaponization of intimacy. Have you noticed that whenever you bring up finances or boundaries or his lack of contribution, he suddenly shuts down? He becomes cold, distant, or makes you feel like you are being unloving or ungrateful for bringing up something as low as money. He makes you feel guilty for expecting an equal partnership. He essentially uses the threat of losing his affection to silence your concerns. This is a classic psychological trap. He is conditioning you to believe that if you want the love he gives, you must remain silent about the imbalance. You start to walk on eggshells. You stop asking for what you need because you are terrified that questioning him will break the spell of the relationship. The fifth sign is the gaslighting of your generosity. When you finally get the courage to speak up, he flips the script. He tells you that you are obsessed with money or that you are materialistic. He makes your very valid need for a partner who can stand on his own 2 feet seem like a character flaw on your part. This is meant to make you self-conscious. It is meant to make you overcompensate. You find yourself thinking, maybe I am being too hard on him. Maybe I should just be more supportive. And in that moment, you have lost. You have internalized his manipulation. You are now working twice as hard to prove that you are a good, supportive woman to a man who is using your kindness as a weapon against you. The 6th sign is the isolation strategy. A man who is using you for money knows that your friends and family are his enemies. If you talk to a friend who is actually in a healthy, balanced relationship, she will tell you the truth. She will say, "Priscilla, why are you paying for his trip? Why is he living in your house rent-free?" And you don't want to hear that. He knows you don't want to hear that. So, he subtly plants seeds of doubt about your support system. He tells you that your friends don't understand your unique connection, or that they are jealous of your happiness. He is creating a barrier between you and your truth, ensuring that you only have his distorted voice in your head. You see, this is not just about money. It is about control. It is about a man who feels inadequate and chooses to soothe that inadequacy by latching onto your stability. But you, my dear, were made for more than being a stabilizer for someone else's ego. You were made for a partnership where you are held, protected, and honored, not just with words, but with a man's own ability to contribute to the life you share. We are going to move into the final stretch, how to extract yourself from this dynamic, how to reclaim your energy, and how to set a standard that will instantly repel these users in the future. We are close to the breakthrough. I want you to feel the weight starting to lift. We have walked through the dark corridors of manipulation and the cold reality of being used. You have identified the crisis cycles, the vanishing acts, and the subtle ways your generosity was weaponized against you. But now, we arrive at the most critical part of this journey, the reclamation. You cannot stay in a space of being used and expect to become the magnetic, powerful woman you were born to be. The two states are fundamentally incompatible. The 7th sign, and one that many women fail to spot until it is too late, is the investment imbalance. Look at your life. If you were to map out the last 6 months, who has invested more? And I'm not just talking about money. I am talking about emotional labor, planning, logistical effort, and the heavy lifting of the relationship. When a man is with you for love, he seeks to lighten your load. He notices the small cracks in your foundation and brings the tools to fix them. When he is with you for what you provide, he adds to your weight. He becomes another responsibility on your to-do list. If your relationship feels like a job that doesn't pay a salary, and I don't mean money, I mean joy, security, and peace, you are not in a partnership. You are in a state of depletion. The 8th sign is the conditional validation he offers. He only praises you when you are doing something for him. Notice that? When you pay for the trip, you are the best woman in the world. When you buy him that gift, you are so thoughtful and perfect. But when you set a boundary, when you say no, suddenly the validation stops. He becomes cold, critical, or silent. This is Pavlovian conditioning, designed to train you to be the good girl who never says no. You need to recognize this for what it is, a tactic to keep you compliant. The moment you start feeling like you have to earn his love through compliance, you have already lost your power. The 9th sign is the avoidance of responsibility. Every time he fails, every time he falls short, it is never his fault. It is the economy, it is his boss, it is his bad luck, or it is the world conspiring against him. A man who refuses to take accountability for his own life will never take accountability for your heart. If he cannot lead his own life with integrity, he will never be able to lead or protect you. And please, do not fall for the "I just need someone to believe in me" speech. You can believe in him all you want, but your belief will not pay his bills or build his character. Only he can do that. The 10th sign, and perhaps the most heartbreaking, is your own intuition. That small, quiet voice inside you that has been screaming for weeks, or maybe months. That voice that tells you something feels off. Do not silence it. That is your highest intelligence. When you find yourself justifying his behavior to your friends, or worse, to yourself, when you find yourself making excuses for why he is the way he is, you are actively betraying your own spirit. So, where do we go from here? You stop being his ATM. You stop being his project. You reclaim your resources, your time, and your emotional bandwidth. This is where the real work of the Chosen One's Power Manual comes in. It is not just about identifying the users. It is about building a standard of self-respect so high that a user would be terrified to even approach you. When you stand in your own light, when you are fully sovereign, you don't need to hunt for love. You become a magnet for it. I want you to leave this video with a decision. You are not going to ask him to change. You are going to change the environment he is living in. If he is there for your resources, watch how quickly he disappears the moment those resources are closed off. Let him go. The space he occupies is needed for the man who will love you for exactly who you are, not for what you can give. You are a woman of immense value. You are a treasure. Stop handing out pieces of yourself to people who don't know how to hold them. Start today. Start now. Your power is waiting for you to reclaim it. If this video resonated with your soul, if you felt that shift in your chest, I want to hear from you. Comment below with, "I am reclaiming my power," to set that intention into the universe. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are just getting started on this journey to true sovereignty. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. You are worth everything.